Once upon a time, two retired teachers decided to convert their garage into a pottery studio. Along with their daughter and son, they built a business around the idea that the world could use a little more art and a lot more artists. We're the Kaya family. Welcome to Wocky Pots. Hi everybody, how you doing? How you been? How are things? Shane and Diana here with coffee time number 23 at Wocky Pots Studio. Good to see you, Diana. What are we going to talk about today?
Alrighty, well, let's go ahead and start in with last week.
Dive right in.
We'll dive right in. Our second homeschool clay class happened last week on Tuesday. And this time we focused on the science of clay.
Right, so we were talking about things like the rock cycle, sedimentary rock, and all that stuff. The feldspar being the main component of clay.
And I added in, how different clays got different colors based on the minerals that were in them. So that was pretty cool. And then for our project of the day, we made bird feeders.
Yeah, bird feeders. So this one has come out of bisque fire. So it hasn't been glazed, but it's got that kind of salmon color that is indicative of our speckled, what's the number? Standard?
112.
112. Our speckled buff clay. And it will get filled with birdseed, and then it'll hang from the strings. And I don't know what color Diana's going to glaze it yet, but it's going to be beautiful for sure. Anyway, we had our kids make these, and you can probably see it behind my shoulder.
They're back there.
They're back there drying right now, resting peacefully.
This was the one that I think a few weeks ago I shared that I'd been working on a template.
They'll be ready for bisque fire quite soon.
Yes.
We will have another glaze load going in the kiln, and then they'll be ready to go in for their bisque firing.
Yeah, so it was a great class. We had a good time.
As always.
Yes.
Yeah. What else?
Well, we also had a bisque load that went in. We had hoped to have a glaze load in, but that just did not happen.
Insufficient time to finish your glazing.
No, working as fast as we can, but the bisque load went in and came out, and it has lots of pieces in it that are going to be glazed and put in this week. Hopefully tomorrow.
Some of the stuff that came out just a couple days ago is right here on the table, just to give you an idea of what some of the pieces were. We're trying a new glaze technique. I say we're trying this, and it's not at all we, because, man, I screw things up often enough that Diana's going to be doing this.
But you did help.
I did help.
You just stopped partway.
Well, I felt like I was messing up.
But you weren't. You just couldn't let it go.
Which is one of my favorite songs.
Yes.
Frozen theme song.
I know.
So these three in the front are this experimental clay that Diana's planning on calling it Kaleidoscope.
Yes.
If it comes out the way we expect it to, it'll be very colorful.
And my thought is it's either going to come out absolutely stunning, or it's going to be
it could be destined for the pity pottery rack.
So we'll see. But they're so nice, and they're very big pieces. And I did I did my dripping technique on 3 different bases.
Did we tell them about our pity pottery rack? I don't know if we've mentioned our pity pottery rack.
We've ever done that or not.
Not every piece of pottery that we make ends up being perfect.
Yes.
So we have a rack that we call the pity pottery rack, where we slash prices just so we can give homes to some of the pieces that might not be aesthetically perfect, but somebody might want for putting a plant in or something. Yeah, this guy might be
going to
might be destined for the pity pottery. It's the button.
I'm looking for it now. Yes,
so,
I can't find it.
So this was our first casualty from one of our shows. This last first Friday. This is one of the beautiful button mugs that Diana did, and I love it.
It's the last one too. It's the last sweater.
Every other one is sold. We're gonna have to make some more.
Yeah.
But this top button, I don't know what happened, but it cracked during our last.
Something must have hit it just right where the join was.
Our last appearance, it cracked. So this. Right now, it has a very important job of holding down our loose wrapping paper for the pottery. When somebody buys pottery, this holds down the wrapping paper, or at least it did Friday. But it may be destined for the pity pottery pile at some point, in which case it will go for somebody to either turn it into a plant, or they could actually drink out of it, because the crack.
There's nothing wrong with the inside or the handle.
No,
so
the crack is on the
usable,
outside.
But I can't sell something
broken if we know
Yeah.
it's not right. Yeah. So this might be going for our pity pottery pile, which is it's just a rack, and usually we sell the piece for like $5 or something like that. Just so if somebody wants a piece of pottery and it doesn't have to be perfect, they can grab something.
Yeah.
This is
And
I
it's
really
a way
like
for
this one.
us to also not have things to add to a garbage pile
Right.
somewhere, so that we reuse everything, and even things that don't turn out or are flawed and stuff, they still have a purpose and
Some
can,
people
can
have-
find a use.
Some people have suggested that maybe we break them up and sell them to people doing mosaics.
Right.
Because some of them would be really pretty. I have a hard time taking a hammer to something, though.
Especially if it can still have life as it is.
Right.
That's my thing.
I probably should have drank my coffee out of that today, just to give it one last
one
little
last.
fleeting glimpse of usefulness. So anyway, the show was a very good success. We went to the first Friday in Snow Hill. Did a really, it was a really great show. We did quite well.
It was cold again.
Again, it was cold.
The day before First Friday in Snow Hill was actually 86 degrees.
Practically summer weather.
It
and
was
then,
phenomenal. We thought, oh, wonderful, wonderful. He'll take the wheel. He'll do demonstrations. And then the next day we look at the weather, and of course, while we're going to be set up, it's going to be in the 50s.
And windy. We had wind gusts of 28 miles an hour or something like that. So
but the canopy survived. It
yeah,
didn't blow anywhere.
I was all prepared to grab hold of the canopy. If the wind took it, I was going to get a free ride to Kansas. I just knew it.
I know. So, but I was amazed by how many people were there, and we had quite a few folks stop by and talk with us, take our business card, and buy some things.
Well, yeah, we sold a huge variety of things. Your racu cat sold.
Yes,
that was
my
great.
cat.
Yep, we need to make more of those.
Yes.
And it was nice. We met our goal, and it was a nice event. And even though it wasn't warm enough for me to set up my little battery-powered wheel and give demonstrations, it was still nice. We premiered our Wocky Pots table cover, and we had on our Wocky Pots T-shirt,
I thought we
and
looked
it was
good.
great. Yeah, I think that's not what you said. I think you said we look cute.
We
I'm pretty
did.
sure that's what you said.
We did.
And we had a great time. It was good. So what else happened last week? Anything else we need to talk about?
I don't think. Oh no, you made some things.
Oh,
last
yeah, I
week.
made a few things,
You
right.
made a few things.
So
among all this other busy stuff.
over here to my right, to your left, are some raku pieces that I made a couple of days ago or whatever. They're not dry yet enough to trim. I'm going to be trimming them today. They are very close. This one's close enough to being
Now,
dry.
some of the
to
folks
trim.
watching, they might not understand what you mean by trim.
Right. So here's what happens. I make something on the wheel, and if I'm using one of these square, and this is why I left them attached because I haven't trimmed them yet, these square bats allow me to keep things connected to the bat, and then the bat sits in a recess on my wheel. And
So you don't have to handle the item itself, the
And I
object
don't have
that
to-
you're sculpting.
and more importantly, I don't have to
throwing.
center it again. After it comes off the wheel, I don't have to center it again when I put it
Oh.
back. So when I put it back on the wheel, it's automatically going to be centered, and I don't have to mess around with getting
Not
it
like
right.
when I put my stuff on the wheel and I'm
You
sitting
have
there
to
going,
tap it or whatever to get it. Yep. Now
and I never get it back.
I still have to do that when I flip it over to trim the bottom, but at least this way I can put it on the wheel when it's dry enough, and then I can take a tool or something and work on it, and either remove more clay or give it another finish. And we're going to talk about that again in a minute. But this is my favorite method of trimming the pottery, is to leave them on these bats, trim them on the wheel, and then they come off the bat for me to trim the other end, and then they're finished. And ready to dry, and then go in for a bisque and then glaze later. These are raku pieces, and these are all destined to be horsehair raku, decorated with the horsehairs from the descendants of Misty of Chincoteague.
Yes.
These are specifically for the osprey nest.
So Matt and Tabitha, if you're watching,
These are some of your new pieces. This is an example of what would be an 8-inch piece, because although it's 8 1/4 inches right now tall, it seems taller than that.
It
but
seems huge.
it's between 8 1/4 and maybe 8 1/2 inches tall. It'll shrink down a little bit, so this will be an 8-inch vase when it's done. This will be a 6-inch, and then these both will be 4-inch vases when they're done. So anyway, I've been working on that too. How about you? I mean, I see some of the glazes here. What else?
Well, I didn't make anything
No,
this week.
but you were busy.
I've been busy.
It's not like you
I've
didn't
been
do anything.
glazing. You know, we talked about these kaleidoscope pieces earlier, but I love this guy. Look at this sweet vase. Now, you threw the vase on the wheel, and it's actually one of our pieces that's been sitting for a while on a shelf waiting. And every time we get ready to do a glaze load, it's like there's so many things that already had priority. We hadn't done them. Well, so this time though, this one became a priority, and this is going to be a cute little chicken vase. So perfect in time for Mother's Day. And it is glazed with deep fire brick. And then I have ancient jasper on the rim. So there is going to be some flowing, but then I left some naked clay.
Naked clay.
Naked clay.
We should let you understand that the way it looks now with the glaze just applied, it will not look like that at all when it's
We'll
flared.
share a picture of it now and after it's fired, maybe next week.
All of these pieces will be super colorful and glossy.
Yeah, so that way you
and
can
bright.
see, you know, how it looks after it's glazed, which is not very pretty.
Right, the glazing is not pretty until after it's
Yes.
flared. Even the clay, it's like this salmon pink color.
Yes.
That will be a buff.
Yeah, so it'll be
speckle
kind of
color.
interesting to see. We'll have to do that for next week. And then also we have a underglaze chickens. There's 2 chickens and
3.
no, a rooster.
Oh, 2 hens.
2 hens and a rooster. Yes,
Gotcha.
they are all chickens, but there are 2
Two
females.
hens and a rooster.
one
So
male.
that'll be cool. So it's been a pretty busy week.
My mind is not functioning. I need more coffee.
More coffee. It's been a week of glazing and
Yes.
classes.
And I still, the mommy vases still have to be glazed this week. They are now bisqued.
And they're ready for their glaze.
And they're ready for their glaze. And in fact, Carolyn is coming when she's done with work today over to help us out with some of the glazing, because we got to get it in. So because it takes 51 hours for
Right.
it to come out, and we have to have it ready before the weekend.
And Saturday's our appearance
Yes.
at Shinky.
Yes.
All these things that have been glazed and the mommy vases that are yet to be glazed.
Bird feeder.
The bird feeder.
Oh.
And your planter.
And the planter, yes.
These
And-
will all be
yes.
glazed and ready for the show
Set it down
on
gentle.
Saturday.
So it doesn't make huge sound.
Kerplunk.
We don't want to deafen anybody.
Right. All those will be ready, and a lot more too.
Yes.
Normally the kiln can fit about 40 mug-sized pieces, but with the larger stuff in there, we're not going to be able to fit
Right.
quite as much in. And we'll get the stuff fired, and we'll be replenishing our stock.
Yes, gotta keep doing that
keep it
week
cranking.
after week. Now, last week from our episode, we had a question asked.
Right, Mary.
Mary asked if we mixed our own clay and how we get that shine
Right,
on the bare clay.
She was specifically talking about our brown. We've talked about the
Yes.
sheltery brown before. I'm not going to go into great detail with that, other than to say a lot of potters get their clay in dry form, and they'll get 50-pound bags of dry clay that mixes with water to make way more than 50 pounds of clay. We don't buy our clay dry. We buy it moist, so it's already mixed with water and ready to go. We just open up the bag and start using it. And the brown that we are using isn't normally, like if you just make something out of brown clay, you don't get a shine from it. The shine comes from the burnishing stage. Now, I will be burnishing these racu vases here, but burnishing is where you take the clay that is almost dry, we call it leather hard, and then you run a smooth tool over the surface of it, and that gives it a nice, really smooth,
And
almost
you
shiny finish.
do that as part of the trimming process.
Correct.
If you're going to burnish a piece.
And I don't always do that on the wheel. In fact, I'm going to mention this bowl because this bowl, there's 2 reasons I'm going to mention the bowl, but the most important reason right now for our purposes is that the surface of the bowl on the outside does not have any glaze on it at all. This isn't glazed. This is burnished. Now, I didn't make this bowl on the wheel.
And
this is a
it
hand-built.
feels like silk.
Right, silky smooth.
Yes.
But what I did was, and you can probably even see some of the marks, when this was at the leather hard stage, I used my second favorite tool, which is just a spoon.
We
And
love our household item tools.
Oh yeah, These are my second favorite tool. My first favorite tool being popsicle sticks or tongue depressors. I love these things. This is if I could only have one tool in the studio, this is the tool I would use. But because I can have more tools than that, my second choice are these spoons, and they're just smooth steel spoons, and I rub them across the surface when this is at the leather hard stage, and I get that nice sheen. Now, in order to get an even better shine on it, at least on this piece here, I used something called Renaissance wax. And because this isn't going to be a food bowl, this isn't really for serving food, I don't mind at all putting a shiny wax on the outside
Although
of it.
it is on the bottom.
It is on the bottom.
And
the inside is our regular glaze with no wax, and it's perfectly food safe. You could eat out of this. But I did not use the Renaissance wax on this piece of Sheltoe brown. So this was just burnished. That's only being burnished. Now,
and the clay is so smooth itself. I guess that kind of helps when you burnish it, because like when you burnish the 112, it's never going to shine
exactly
like the Sheltoe will shine.
The speckles in that brown clay that we use, the speckled brown clay, those speckles have a different hardness than the surrounding clay. And when you burnish them, you can still smooth it pretty well. So it feels pretty smooth. It'll never be as smooth as our white clay here or the brown clay here, because there's no speckles, no grit in those at all. Now, so anyway, to answer Mary's question, we don't mix our own clay. This is comes packaged like this. Although we could mix our own clay with various dry clays and then add water and then get something different. If we really wanted to, we could take a clay that has the same temperature range as our Sheltoe brown, and we could mix them together. Like if we wanted a lighter brown, we could totally mix our Sheltoe brown with some of this white clay, and we could come up with a much lighter brown color. And as long as it was incorporated fully, not streaky, not marbled, as long as it was incorporated fully and fully mixed, that would work fine too. So asking whether or not we make our own clay is a very valid question, because a lot of potters do. They buy their ingredients in powder form and mix them up.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet, but this gives me a chance.
I kind of like it coming out of that bag, guys.
It's nice. So this gives me a chance to talk about the glaze that's on the inside of this, and I'm going to mention this really, really quick, because if you're a longtime watcher, you may know that we have lamented the fact that they have discontinued this clay. It's my favorite glaze.
It's glaze, not clay.
Glaze. This is my favorite glaze. It's called Ancient Copper. And the problem was that the ingredients got to be so expensive.
Yes, wasn't that the lithium one that
I think so,
was in the car batteries?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's
right.
right.
So anyway, which company is Amaco?
Yes.
Amaco made this this glaze. So it was recently announced that they have reformulated it, and the new formulation looks identical to the old stuff, and it will be available, I think, in June. So I am very anxious to be able to get my hands on some of that again. This is Ancient Copper, and I love what it does over texture. So anyway, that gives me a small chance to talk about that.
Plus, now that you know it is going to return,
I can use that last half pint.
That last bit that you've been hoarding,
that
can be
half
used.
a pint. So we can use that. So Ancient Copper will be making its triumphant return to the studio soon.
Yes.
Yep. So what else?
Alrighty, well, let's go ahead and start talking about what's coming in the week ahead. And of course, today, just in a couple of hours, we're going to be going to the Clay Guild meeting.
Right, Clay Guild meeting. It's a secret Clay Guild meeting. It's not secret at all, but I'm kind of pretend in my head that it is.
Yes. So anyway, but we're going to be going up there and participating in the meeting, asking some questions that I have about the Clayapalooza that we're participating in.
And we will definitely update on our next Coffee Time video. We'll update with what's going on with the Clay Guild and Clayapalooza and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a chance
I'm
to talk about
I'm a little nervous because I only know 2 of the people there. So you went last time, so you know everybody.
Wait, no, stop. Those 2 things do not go together. I did go last time. I know Sarah and Robbie.
Okay.
And Patricia, who I do know, wasn't there last time. So those people, I understand.
But you said they were all nice.
They were all very nice, and I understand that their faces
I shouldn't be worried, but I'm always worried when it's something new.
They are very, very nice people, but
Yeah. Once I go today, I'll be fine after today. So I have to find where my place is.
Yeah,
I have to find my niche.
I'm not at all worried about the meeting. I think it's going to go great. We'll ask some questions, and it'll be a nice time sitting around talking to other people who
maybe they'll feel like when we do our coffee time.
We probably won't talk as much.
No, not us personally, but I can sit and listen to somebody.
We can, like when somebody's talking, we're just going to pass them a cup of coffee and just try to make it feel familiar.
Yes, that would help.
That would help. Here, take this. Here, take this. It'll be great, and I think we're going to stick around after the meeting and paint the pedestals for the displays at the Arts Council building. Yep.
Yeah.
It'll be great. So that's happening today. What else do we have happening this week?
Well, our clay class coming up this week. We've not talked about that, have we yet?
Not the one coming up.
No, this is our third one coming up. We've done the history of clay, we've done the science of clay, and this time it's the art of clay.
So the kids are going to be making sculptures out of clay, and we're going to be talking about things like negative space and balance and using some of the elements and principles of art that we've talked about before.
Yeah.
It is going to be important for the kids to understand that their thicknesses have to be, their clay has to be of uniform thickness so it'll fire and dry correctly. But it'll be good. I
think they're going to have a fun time with that.
I want us to do abstract if possible.
Right.
Like they often have the opportunity to make a cat or to make a tree. I'd like them to do something abstract.
Okay.
And I'm not going to make them do something abstract, but I'm going to encourage that. I don't feel like kids have enough of an opportunity to do abstract.
Right.
So we'll talk about it, and we'll see if that is a path that they want to go down.
Yes. We did talk about the fact that we're going to be putting a glaze load in this week, and that Carolyn's coming to help us because we're...
Watch for that kiln opening midweek.
Yeah, I'd say Thursday, which it's got to be out by Friday because we've got to get it
packed up,
priced, and into the truck.
So working backwards from Friday morning, we need at least 2 days, and more like 2.5 days. So if we talk about it having to be ready Friday morning, Thursday morning, by Wednesday night, it's got to be done.
I think Thursday's fine because we go on Saturday.
That's true. We do have a little bit of a cushion.
Yes, it's not like it's Friday night. It's Saturday morning. So, and what we're talking about is the Chincoteague Farmers and Artisans Market this is the very first day of it.
We're very excited to set up there, you guys.
Remember the mommy vases are going to make their debut at that, and the market it's doing a big push for Mother's Day because Mother's Day is that Sunday, and we're going to be set up at the market on Saturday. So they've advertised and put out that there's going to be lots of things to purchase for moms at the event. So I'm hoping our mommy vases do well, and
maybe I
think they're so cute. I just think people will. I hope people appreciate them as much as I do.
We should do like a mother-child pottery class kind of a deal.
I hadn't even
and put that out for Mother's Day.
That might be something to do.
That might be a good thing to do.
Yes.
Anyway, it's something to think about.
Yes, and of course it was funny because when we were set up at First Friday, this past Friday, remember the lady who was set up next to us? She said she sets up at the Chincoteague Farmers Market, and she kind of looked at us and she said, "You said this is all that you have right now?" And we're like, "Yes." She said, "Oh." She said, "How are you going to get through the season?" And I'm like, "Well, we keep making." And she's like, "Yeah, but I don't think you understand how much you can sell."
I'm not counting my chickens until they are not just hatched, but running around.
Right. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my, okay. Well, hopefully we'll have, and we're constantly making, so we're constantly making new things, bisquing it, then glazing it. So I told, if I have to go over and sit there with 10 items on a table because we've run out of everything else,
we'll do it.
We'll do it. We'll sit there. You can put on demonstrations. I can talk about pottery.
We'll sell our classes.
Yes.
I have a very hard time believing we're going to sell 50 pieces every single Saturday.
But
That's
I guess
a very difficult time believing that.
I don't know. But anyway, we're just going to go with it. We've made that commitment. So if I sit there with hardly anything, I will do it, because when I make a commitment, I follow through.
Yep.
So,
and even if it's a small setup, like our setup right now is pretty big. We have a lot.
Yeah. I guess we think we have a lot, but
no,
it's all a matter of perspective, I guess.
True, but it would look like more if we only set up on one table.
Right.
And if we have to, we have to.
That's
right now, we fill up two 6 foot tables, and that's okay for us right now. And we'll keep making it, and we'll keep doing what we do. And
that's right, because we're having fun.
That's the most important thing.
We're having fun, and we're enjoying learning more and more about clay, making pots.
I kind of had this discussion with Doug, in fact, about not really wanting this to become an actual, really a grindy job where you feel like you're chained to the studio and all you can do is make pottery. So
I mean, it's a joy, and we want it to remain a joy.
Right, not an onerous obligation. So we want to have enough time built in, and sure, it's our ultimate goal is to sell out of everything by the end of the season. If we do that earlier, we're gonna have to hustle a little bit to make up, so we have holes because we'll have holes to fill. But it will be fine, no matter what. It will be fine.
Yeah. Yep. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be nice.
What a good problem to have, though. Like, if we're going to have a problem, selling everything is a good problem.
And we'll tell you guys as we go along how it's going.
And we'll let you know. We met our goal at First Friday at Snow Hill. And
so we've got our goal set for each time, and if we make it, that's wonderful.
And if we don't, it's okay too.
That's okay too. And plus, we're learning about what types of things people are interested in. We know what we're interested in, but I like to make sure that if someone has something that they want, that we try to make that too, because it's important that we show people that we're listening.
I'm sorry, did you say something?
You're so funny.
It will be good. What else do we have kicking for the follow-up for the next week?
Well, that is going to be it for next week. I did want to let everybody know, we've left April now, and we've moved into May over the week. So here was our April goal. And of course, we had our goal of 100 pieces. And for the second month in a row,
we came close.
We did 80.
Yeah, we did close.
That seems to be our thing. So I feel like we should just set our goal as 80.
Yeah, but then we'll make 60.
Yes,
so
that's right. So, but we always aim high. So I've put up the one for May now, and it's a canister. And I didn't even bother putting 100 up there. But if we fill that canister to the top, then it is 100 pieces.
If our goal is 100, every piece is a percentage point, so it's easy to.
So it just makes and I'm okay if it doesn't fill up. I loved the fact though that it filled up as much as it did.
Well,
plus it's kind of, I think it's pretty.
It is pretty in that month though. If our goal last month was to make 100 and we actually made 80, understand we sold 50 pieces just at that one big event.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to hustle to keep up.
And that's okay. Right. And that gives us a goal and something to strive for, you know. And in life, I feel like, you kind of have to have your priorities. And for us, pottery is a priority, and sharing our love of it with other people is, and, so it's a good thing.
It is a very good thing. What else do we have to talk about for next week? Okay, so talking about priorities, one of the things that we want to do, if we get 300 subscribers to our YouTube channel, we are going to do how-to videos. And one of the first ones we'll probably do is this bird feeder, because that's a really easy and
I'm
fun
already
project.
starting to write down lists of possibilities of things that people would like to see.
And not
and
only
if you
pottery.
have something specific that you would like to see, please just leave us a comment, and we will do our best to help you out.
Right, we might do a demonstration video on your pour painting, or we might do a demonstration video on making your own bean bags for juggling, because I'm kind of an expert at that. But our how-to videos will start when we get to 300 subscribers, and we're past 220 now. We're 223.
I think so.
So when we get to 300, we'll start posting those regular how-to videos. Can't wait for that. We do appreciate everything that you guys have given us as far as support, and thank you very much for watching and for coming and visiting us at our market appearances. We do appreciate all of that. If you are interested in taking a class, definitely reach out to us, because we might not be posting classes very much because we're making a lot in the studio, but we always have time in room to throw in a kind of an a la carte class. All we need is a couple people and a reason to get you in the studio, and we can get you making cups or bowls or whatever.
And I also want to say, it really means the world to me when people all around the world are watching us. Our friend Lainey in New Zealand, and then this week we found out we have a person in the Netherlands, and we have a person in Finland.
It's great to know that we're getting around.
It just makes me so happy.
If you're watching from another location, well, you know
or
what?
Anywhere. Just tell us where you are, because
tell us where you're at.
What I want to do is I want to get a map of the world.
If we can get a few more people to tell us where they are, we'll put up a map of the world.
Yeah, I want to put a pin up for everybody, because I love how we're connected.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yep, it is.
Great.
It is good fun. So do that. Tell us where you're from, and we're gonna put up a map of the world and start putting pins in for where our viewers are. I think that would be a fantastic thing to do. Yep.
It would.
All right, anything else we need to talk about?
I think that's a great place to end.
Okay, we're gonna put some pictures up from the previous week, so stay tuned after our sign off for just a couple pictures if you want to see our new T-shirts and our new market setup that we just did at First Friday. For now, though, I think we're done.
Yep.
Okay, everybody. Toodaloo, TTFN, ta-ta for now. Take care. See you later. Have a fantastic day no matter where you're at. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.